This is going to be great. This is going to be one of those deep conversations that Dan Goodsell looks back in the future and hates.
I hate my conversations. I love my conversations. I just listen to myself and I'm like, what would I say after Tony's line? And I'm like, yep, that's what I would say.
Yeah, that's exactly right.
I nailed it again. I did it, and then when I thought about it, I said it again. Of course, I would say
good job, Dan Goodsell. Good job. You did great.
Hey, watching with Dan and Tony. Hey, watching with Dan and Tony. It's Hey Watching, yeah.
Welcome to Hate Watching with Dan and Tony, the location you come to for the most thoughtful and intelligent discussion of the worst movies ever made.
All right. I don't know how I feel about this show already. We're off on a rocky start. That was low energy Dan.
Low energy Dan.
All right, we'll see.
This is thoughtful Dan. Thoughtful.
Oh, pensive Dan, maybe.
Thoughtful. Pensive.
Those are the only two words I know. I'm not a thesaurus.
Let's think about this for a while. Tony is not a thesaurus. He just has puppets in his head. I'm Dan, and that's
Tony.
And we are in remote studio locations from which we observe seriously. And each week we pick a movie, or one of us picks a movie, and then, oh shoot, do I have to pick a movie for next week? Oh Christ!
I mean, you should have already done it because you're not gonna be able to think while you're talking all this deep.
I wanted to pick Masters of the Universe, the Dolphin,
yes,
but you can't pick that one because you can't get it.
Oh, for real?
There are some movies that are so terrible and so reviled that you are not allowed to get them anymore. I mean, you buy DVDs.
I have it on VHS back at my parents' house. I used to watch the shit out of that movie.
Send it out. Yeah, but there's a number of movies like the Super Babies 2 Kid Geniuses you can't get, the Garbage Pail Kids movie you can't get. I think maybe the Super Mario Brothers movie you can't get. I know I ordered I have the Garbage Pail Kid movie DVD, and I meant to watch it at some point and then send it to you, but we just haven't gotten.
Yeah, we're busy. We're busy.
After
guys.
a year, we've never gotten around to doing that. Well, when we do go to pick the movie, I'm going to have to go look at my secret cheat sheet because I forgot to do that. But this week we're doing Tony's pick, which was kind of the end of our whitewashing experience, and this one does fit right into the sort of idea of whitewashing.
But it's also weird because of the history and like who made it. Like it's a very interesting case to me.
It's sort of an inverse idea, which it's sort of making an Eastern movie, but inserting white characters in there in
order to sell it.
Yeah,
that's what's so interesting. Yeah. It's like I don't know. The whole thing is kind of bizarre to me, and unfortunately, it didn't really work.
But let's say what we're watching. We're watching The Great Wall with the great Matt Damon.
That is the last time that we'll say the great Matt Damon in this podcast.
I will say this from the beginning. I expected him to be much worse.
Are you kidding me? This was the most painful performance I think we've seen. Because he's good. He's good. Matt Damon is a good actor. I like Matt Damon. I don't know what the fuck he's doing in this movie. I could not figure it out. I spent the entire movie just being like, I don't understand what you're trying to do, sir.
Wait, you're questioning his choices?
I would like a written statement from Matt Damon himself explaining to me what the fuck was going through his head during these scenes.
This is what was going through his head. My bank account number is this. Please deposit the check.
Please add more. I haven't seen it. It's Friday. I'm waiting. I'm
going to call off this roll in about 30 seconds if I do not see that direct deposit payment in my account so that I can buy another ranch.
Oh, does he have a ranch? I love it.
Of course he has a ranch.
Dan,
as rich as him, you have to have a ranch. Right?
I'll get a ranch one day. That's my plan.
Have a ranch? Of course you would have a ranch.
I'd have a ranch, but I would have no animals on it.
Well, yeah, I mean, that's fine.
Okay.
Not even a goat? A goat that looks at you very sternly?
Only if he makes me TikTok famous. Otherwise, he's getting shipped out.
Is there somebody with a TikTok famous because of their?
I would imagine yes. I don't know it for real, but I think there probably is.
Have we talked about the Hollywood goat?
I don't even I don't know what that is.
Okay, so since we don't really want to talk about the Great Wall because A, it's a bad movie. B, it's not a very interesting bad movie. So you don't hate it.
That is
You're
the problem. It's
incredibly
very blah.
Yes. It visually very striking, very interesting.
Yeah.
But character-wise, there's nothing here.
There are no characters. There's no characters. The plot is ridiculous. The script is like written by a child. Who did write this script?
A child.
Okay, cool.
Just
As long as that's confirmed.
Just credited to a child.
But what's the goat? The Hollywood goat.
Hollywood goat. So we're riding around and we see this RV and it looks like there's a goat's butt sticking out of the RV. And we're like, what the fuck is going on? And I'm like, that is a stuffed goat. And Shannon's like, no, that was
It's a real goat. It's a real
so
goat.
we argued about this, argued. So we get home and so we're like, okay, we got to look it up. So we look up Hollywood goat. Well, of course, it's referred to in text and story as the Hollywood goat.
The Hollywood goat.
And then I'm like watching, and like it's up by the Chinese, and it's like eating grass, and like so there's like 2 or 3 little virally videos of the Hollywood goat, and then come to realize there's 2 Hollywood goats. There's a white one, and then there's the one we saw that's tan. And the tan one, the guy lives in that RV with the goat, and the cops interact with him occasionally. And it literally has a sign on the side that says the Hollywood goat.
So I'm a little confused. I need a couple of clarifications here.
Sure.
You say there's 2 Hollywood goats. Do they both go by the Hollywood goat? Are they trying to be interchangeable, like so people think they're the same, or are there 2 separate competing goats that are like, no, I'm the Hollywood goat, you motherfucker?
I think there's 2 competing Hollywood goats. And you know what? The Hollywood goat more interesting than the Great Wall. And
100%.
$150 million making this pile of garbage.
It's really sad to me, to be honest with you.
Yeah. So this movie is phenomenally boring. Basically, the plot is Matt Damon is heading to China to try and steal gunpowder. He gets to China and they have a monster alien problem that happens every 60 years for like at least the last 900 years. And he gets swept up in this, and then he has to sort of be the white savior to sort of help them, a nation of millions, solve this alien monster problem.
Are they aliens? Do they say
aliens. That? They came in a meteor that crashed into the mountain.
I do not remember. Listen, a lot of this information just kind of went right through, and I was like, "What am I watching?"
Like waves.
So the things that I like about this movie, let's start there real quick because there are things, and that's what bums me out.
They spent a lot of money.
They spent a lot of money. Like the costumes, I love them. The armor that they have, beautiful, unbelievable. And yet somehow the CGI, not beautiful. Like a lot of it looks pretty bad, I think, which is weird considering the budget.
CGI is CGI. It's always going to be CGI. You're always going to know it's CGI, and you're never going to feel any stakes for the characters when they're fighting a CGI. You're like, Damon can't die here. His buddy can't die here. They can't die here because they're fighting CGI monsters.
Like for $150 million, can't you make one practical monster? Like the one that you cage? Couldn't that be like at least partially practical so it seems like anyone's in danger ever? I don't know. Listen, I don't make movies.
We're going to go back to the very fun Hansel and Gretel Witch Slayers. The troll in that was fun. He was fun.
The troll was great. He was the best part of that movie.
He's like a weird troll. And you're like, he's a weird troll. And he had weight. And when he stomped on a guy's head and his head exploded, we're like, that guy's head.
It was cool. I loved it. And I want this guy to bite something for real at some point. They never do. So there's that. But then there's some like cinematic shots that I really enjoy at the end of the movie when they're going through like that kaleidoscope shot down the stairwell with all the colors and then the thing flying up. I was like, this is beautiful.
Yep.
what happened? What happened, Dan? I don't understand. There's elements that are like this should have been cool, but then like who did write? I really am going to look that up. You know what? You tell something. I need to look up who wrote this
I'm going to
movie.
explain it to you, Tony. It's called Lord of the Rings-itis. They made these terrible movies called Lord of the Rings. And
whoa. You don't like the Lord of the Rings movies?
you mean those terrible Lord of the Rings movies that Peter Jackson made? Peter Jackson, one of the worst directors of all time? Yes. They made
So just to be clear, Dan, you hate Peter Jackson and Christopher Nolan, two of the most like profitable directors of our time.
I would kiss Christopher Nolan on the lips and sing his praises rather than sitting through
Peter Jackson.
Actually,
Really?
I take that back. Frighteners was a freaking great movie. His movies that he makes are just literally the most painful, worthless movies. And the proof of that is those Hobbit movies. Even the people that love the Lord of the Rings hate those Hobbit movies because those Hobbit movies are
they suck.
They're unwatchable.
Yeah,
they're so bad.
You can't make it through because
the excesses of the Lord of the Rings movies are times 10 in the Hobbit movies, and people because they walked into those Hobbit the Lord of the Rings movies and like got drawn away into the Middle Earth, and they just loved the spectacle and the fantasy of it all. If you fell in love with that, that's your problem. It's not me. I hate
that's your problem.
That's your problem. But I understand that there's a percentage of people that fell in love with that, right? And it's not me. That's not what I love in a movie.
That's fine. So, that's fine.
Do I think you're garbage for loving those movies? I don't think you're garbage for loving those movies.
Thank you.
But it's not me. But see, that shows you what a bad director Peter Jackson is. He does not understand that you just have to reach a certain level and you're there. He had not every director, but like a lot of directors, he's like, I must go more. I must have 1,000 bridges falling and characters running and goblins. You're just like, when you watch that in The Hobbit, it is just the dumbest thing you've ever seen because there's no stakes, there's no reality. It's just like, how much CGI can we pour into a thing? You're like, ugh. Okay. So yes, Christopher Nolan, 10 times the director Peter Jackson is because Christopher Nolan's dumb indulgences at least continue to make the dumb people that like his movies happy.
Well, it's hard to argue with that last point for sure. Because I do feel like we've all kind of turned on Peter Jackson because those Hobbit movies were straight trash.
So wait, and my point is the Lord of the Rings movies made this spectacle seem like it was something to aspire to, right? And although I do not care for it, Peter Jackson reached a good mix of character and story and this with the spectacle. And he had a lot of time to get, they had a lot of time to get there.
Like 22 hours.
3 movies. It's a lot of stuff to do. But he reached that good mix. So when you're making an hour and 43 minute The Great Wall and you're trying to do that, there's nothing left. All you have is that, and that is not a movie. If you were to cut those Lord of the Rings movies out and just make them the goblin battles and all that shit, you'd want to kill yourself.
You're right. Yeah, you're right about that. Because my favorite part of the Lord of the Rings movie is Viggo Mortensen. Like his character, Stride, is so cool. He's so cool. You know who's not cool? Matt Damon in this movie. Matt Damon's the worst.
So, yes. So they talk about the Great Wall, blah, blah, blah.
Hold on. When we say blah, 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 just real quickly, because I didn't want to rewind it because I was already like, what's happening? But all these, like, the intro titles, did they say it took 1,700 years to build the wall?
Okay, the thing you got to understand about the wall is the wall is a lot of different walls. Okay, it is not one wall that tracks all across China. It's different wall emplacements in different places. Okay, so there's plenty of places in the wall that you just walk through.
Is this real?
Of course.
I don't know anything about it, Dan.
Because, I didn't do all my research. This is just what I remember. The wall is there in strategic military locations. It's also, it's almost like a road in some places where that's the main thing. That's why when they have the horses and the people marching on it, you're like, oh, okay, this makes sense because it is useful. And the Chinese, had to deal with the Mongols and the Ottomans over all this amount of time. And so they would continue to do new structures and build new things. And I bet you if you look at it, it's almost like castle emplacements. You put castles in certain places.
I like that. I want to see that.
Certain key areas. So that's what it is. It's a
Okay.
military placement, but it's not like a
For
wall
monsters.
that could repel monsters.
That's what it's for. I'm pretty sure.
I also love the whole idea of, the monsters basically come down a trough, right?
Well, this is what's confusing to me is like there's like clearly they dug out an area to funnel them. How dumb are these monsters? I don't just go anywhere else. All of the people are in this like half-mile area to fight you. Just go somewhere different. It's a big wall. That's the whole point of it. I don't know. It's very confusing to me.
So Matt Damon, they're there in the desert, him and a bunch of guys running away from these other dudes. Horse chase. We do some archery. Very pretty, beautiful desert. Of course, the absurdity of it goes desert, wall, then black trough.
Yeah.
It doesn't make any sense. It's not how things work.
Climate.
And then they do this trick thing where they let some of the horses go that way, and then they go this way, and then the bad guys go that way, and then they're free. We did. Yay, surprise.
Classic misdirection, man. Great move.
So they settle down for the night, and then we get all this talk. We have to turn back. We used to have 20 men, blah, blah. We've been doing this for like 6 months, and yada, yada, yada. And then we have like the best part where the guy's like, okay, we need to divvy up the stuff and get rid of everything because we have no food. And the first thing to go is this small magnetic meteorite.
I listen. It makes total sense to me. That's exactly what I would say as well. Because you don't need it. You don't need it.
Because that rock was weighing him down, wasn't it, Tony?
And why did they? I don't even understand. Why did they take the rock to begin with?
Somebody just had it with them.
Someone was just like, "Oh, this is pretty," and then put it in their bag. Listen. What a stupid plot point this rock is throughout the whole fucking thing. Like, it's very frustrating to me. I don't. Ugh.
So Matt Damon falls in love with the rock, the magnetic meteor, goes over, saves it. Makes a little wig for it. He keeps it warm under his arm. It's just really weird. So they're
trying to hatch it.
Yeah.
My baby.
Like a dragon's egg. He thinks dragon's egg. Kind of, but that's mean the problem.
It could have been a dragon's egg. I really thought there were dragons in this movie, Dan. When we talked last week, I definitely said dragons. There were not dragons. I was very disappointed.
You didn't just think it was like 3 types of monsters that got incredibly boring after you'd seen all 3 types? You always... the thing I always go back to is Starship Troopers, which is
great.
Which is a trashy, fun movie. And it was the movie that shows everybody how you make these movies. You slowly feed us the information. You each new scene you give us a new monster. You're like, oh, here's the new monster. But this movie, we'll get to it. They give us the Queen in Act 1. We're just like, why the hell?
We ignore it. That's if you want to give it to us, fine, deal with it. Instead, they just ignore it. And then later they're like, well, that's the only thing that'll stop them is if we kill the Queen that we've known about for 1,000 years and have never once tried to attack. What are you talking? Why are you playing defense the whole time, you idiots? Hunt her down. Very confusing to me.
Very confusing. So, in Starship Troopers, we have the brain, we have the big beetles that then shoot their butts out into space. And
awesome. Yep.
Starship Troopers
I missed that movie. I gotta watch that again.
And we cut back to, the characters of Starship Trooper and what's her name's like super hot. Oh my gosh. She's so
smoking hot.
Not what's her name. The other what's her name. Not Denise Richards, the other girl.
Wait, but you also find Denise Richards attractive in the movie.
Very attractive. But
okay. As long as it's like both, I'm fine with that.
Whew. It's like, whatever. So
to be fair, Casper Van Dien also very attractive. So
he was very
it's good. All around.
Everybody's really good in that.
It's a beautiful cast.
Yeah. So then they're looking for gunpowder, no map, no food, no idea what the F they're doing. It's 1080. Did you think he was American?
So that's one of the things that I still don't know the answer to in my mind, because sometimes he's clearly speaking with an American accent. Sometimes I think it might be like Irish, maybe.
It's supposed to be.
And then other times I think he just doesn't know where he is, and he's just like throwing out accents because he was bored that day on set. So I don't know where he's from, but it's a lot of different places.
He's supposed to be Irish.
I know that they say that, but I think the Irish accent comes out the least out of all of the accents.
When we started this episode, Tony was like, "I don't know if I have anything to say about this movie." God, Tony, you
most of the things I'm going to say are going to be about Matt Damon because he's trash in this movie.
So the other dude, his other buddy is Pedro Pascal.
Who I love.
Pedro Pascal do something good that made everybody say when he does all these bad things that, gosh, Pedro Pascal's great and he shouldn't suck this bad. What did he do?
Game of Thrones.
He was in Game of Thrones?
Very briefly. He was with the Sand Vipers. He's so cool in that show.
Vipers was the Sand.
Yeah. So he's sorry, all the fans of Game of Thrones. I'm like a tangential fan. I enjoy it a lot, but I'm not like so deep into it. But he's the guy from the Sand place, and he like fights for Tyrion in the battle, and he's like one of the greatest fighters of all time, but then he gets cocky, and then being cocky gets him killed. Anyhow, he's so cool in the show. He's sexy. He's like a good fighter. He's a good guy. Everybody loves him, and then he dies, and everyone's like, oh my God, Pedro Pascal. And then they gave him, Mandalorian, and then I'm like, thank God they keep the helmet on most of the time, because woof.
He's terrible.
He's not great, it turns out.
So that's the whole thing. The whole thing is this guy had a star-turning role in Game of Thrones. I, who have watched all Game of Thrones, brand new as it came out, I have no idea who the hell you're talking about.
You don't remember? It's when Tyrion picks his champion when he's on trial, and Pedro Pascal is his champ.
And he fights the big guy that's a zombie?
The Mountain.
No,
yes.
The Mountain becomes a zombie. Oh, that's his. Okay, I kind of remember that guy.
Yeah, he's cool. Get over it.
No, I'm not saying he wasn't cool. I just was like trying to figure out where the thing,
As far as I know, that's where the love came from.
Okay, got it. So that people love him for that role.
Yeah.
He's ridden on that role and done Wonder Woman 84, where he was God only knows what, and he did this movie where it's like, who the hell cares? And dude, and some other thing you just mentioned that he was garbage in. So they're kind of friends. Kind of,
not really.
They don't really have any kind of connection. We have no idea why they were friends, how they were friends, but whatever. So everyone in camp gets killed, and then they have to fight this monster in the shadows, and then they cut off its arm.
Which, okay, guys, great job. And then it like trips into a black hole, basically.
It like leaves or something. Who knows?
I think it falls into a pit, doesn't it?
No, it just sort of
I think it's like, my arm, and then falls down. No, I don't know.
They don't see the rest of it. And we're to find out that the meteor, which if it had come that close to the meteor, it should have just fallen asleep.
Yeah.
It's disabled. So who knows? Whatever. Meteor. So they cut off his hand. So then they take off again, and then the bad guys have found them again, and then they reach the wall, so it's desert wall, which of course
not only that, Dan, but they're surprised.
Wait, they're not on the wrong side of the wall, are they?
No, they're on the correct side because all the people
Hold on a second. Let's think about this for a second, right?
Okay, hold on.
Okay, here's the wall. There's the wall, right?
Yeah, there's the wall.
One side of the wall, down here is desert.
Yeah.
Up here is trough that leads to wall, right?
Yes.
I mean, are they on the side of the wall with the monsters?
I think so. Aren't they? I think they are.
So you're telling me they've been riding on horses on the side of the wall where the monsters are, and they catch up to the monsters because the monsters are there.
Yes.
because they're not on the side of the wall that the palace is.
Right, they're definitely not. They're definitely on the outside. Listen, Dan, I don't know. We need one of those book flaps with the drawings. That's what I need, so
We
I
need-
can know where they
We
are.
need J.R.R. Tolkien to draw a map.
Thank you. Let's hire him. But regardless of that, Dan, regardless of directions and where they are, they're surprised when they get to the wall.
Oh, yeah.
How is that possible? It's a big wall.
You mean
They would have seen it for miles. I don't understand. They are 20 feet from him. They're like, where did this wall come from?
what?
How is that? That doesn't make any sense. It should have been like, hey, there's a wall. Let's go towards it. That's where we'll hide.
More importantly, when Willem Dafoe leaves, he goes off through the desert again, and where are the bad guys then? I guess they've already gone. That doesn't make any sense.
Yeah, I mean, you're right. I don't know. Yeah.
Okay.
Hey.
So they come up over the rise, and there's the wall, and the bandit guys stop, and they're all like, we're not going to that wall. And then the arrows, 1,000 arrows come around, and they're like circled in arrows.
Yeah. It made me laugh. I think that was the desired effect, right?
Laugh. Yeah, that's this movie looking for laughs.
Yeah.
So they get inside. There's 3 generals, each in different colors. Then there's a sexy blue lady whose name is Lynn. And then they find the hand, and they're all like, "Oh, the bad guy!
Oh, snap!
You guys defeated the bad guy. How could you do that? You're just schlubs." And then, of course, the blue lady speaks literally perfect English.
Well, Willem Dafoe taught her. I don't know if you know.
But he didn't just teach her; he taught her perfect English.
So good. I mean, he must have been there for 50 years.
No, he was there for 25 years.
Oh, that is a while. I don't remember them saying that.
They said that a couple of times. So then we see Willem Dafoe, who's in a corner cowering like this.
Just skittish the whole time. I still don't understand. Jesus Christ. Wow. I don't understand his character. And I say that with quotes around it.
I really thought he was going to be this great advisor to them. He was going to be this really interesting diplomat type. But no, he becomes this terrible, terrible plot device where he's just been hanging around.
Just chilling.
Waiting for the exact moment to steal them blind of gunpowder and then run away.
25 years? What? That's a terrible plan, Willem Dafoe.
Tony, is the key to doing your thing stealing a couple of bags of gunpowder?
Apparently.
No.
If I've learned anything from the Great Wall, the gunpowder is the game changer, my friend.
Well, yeah, gunpowder is absolutely the game changer. But, would you steal a bag of gunpowder, or is there something else you'd much rather have than a bag of gunpowder?
Are we talking about the lady?
No. No, the formula for gunpowder.
It's not like they just have that written down somewhere. You can't, right?
The whole idea is you would figure out how they make the gunpowder. That's the whole idea of, and that.
All right.
When the West finally got gunpowder, they didn't get a bag of gunpowder. They got the formula.
Can you not reverse engineer it? This is a real question. I don't understand science, Dan.
Yeah. Could we do things do we do things like that now? Absolutely. Could they do it back then? No.
Okay, because you have to understand the molecular nonsense.
Yeah, you just need to understand that it's saltpeter and charcoal and things like that.
So they make again, Dan. I don't understand it. So you're saying I thought that there was just a cave with gunpowder in it, and they're scooping it up down there. So you're saying that they know how to make it.
Tony, I love you.
I
don't say this with derision. That is phenomenally the stupidest thing you've ever said.
Hold on.
Hold on.
Because that makes the movie make less sense to me now. If there's not... I just thought that there was a mining cave.
You're telling me food comes from animals? There's
hold on.
Where the food we eat comes from? Mine out pigs and chickens.
Hold on, Dan. Every Tuesday, I play a game called Civilization with our friend Harrison. And in that game, you have to get tiles that have the gunpowder in order to have it. So I just thought it was a resource. I just like you mine it like you mine silver and gold.
I'm so joyously happy now.
Okay, so back to the movie real quick. So you're saying that
I get what you're saying. Everything
Okay.
you know about science comes from playing a video game.
it comes from video games and they lie all the time. It's hard to tell what's real and what's not. Okay, so then I don't totally understand the plan then.
Yeah.
Because then wouldn't there just be like maybe a head scientist guy
Yep.
that you could maybe torture for information
Yes.
or kidnap?
Yes.
25 years and he hasn't even talked to that guy?
You would probably, the idea would be you'd be trying to figure out what the formula is.
You would befriend him within the first 5 years and then you would be gone. So you're like, okay, good. Now I got it. Now I can bolt. 25 years and he's done nothing? This guy sucks.
Okay. So, yes. So there we go. And then they like look at the hand and they're like, holy moly, this means they're coming 9 days early. 9 days? Like that means something. Like the difference between, like you wouldn't be ready a week before the war. You'd be like, oh.
Apparently they're like last minute planners and they're like, oh shit, I thought we had 7 more days to start with 2 days of prep.
And then we start getting the smoke signals and then the drums start happening and they're like, holy moly.
I love the drums.
Drums are beautiful.
All that drumming was so cool.
When I was in college one time, we had these people called the taiko drummers come and play in the auditorium.
Cool.
They had these drums that were like 10 feet tall.
Yes.
You know, you have the greatest experience of your life when you see.
Yeah.
Maybe they were Japanese, maybe they weren't Chinese, but you know, when you see Asian drumming things, phenomenal.
It's cool.
So they're going there. Everybody's, for whatever reason, everybody has to handle Matt Damon and Pedro. So they're like, "Oh, we got to put them in this door, but we can't find the key."
The guy's got a key ring, right? And he like tries 2 keys, and then he turns around and is like, I can't find the key. We gotta go. What? I don't even understand. Is the key on that key ring and he just can't figure it out? Or did the key magically get off the key ring and he like misplaced his car key somewhere?
Matt Damon probably used the magnet to like
just take the one key.
The one important key. And of course, this is Stupid Kid. And we get to see Stupid Kid like 5 times in the movie, being stupid, being boring, and then dying to help them.
I had a question.
Is it about
because at one point Matt Damon goes to Stupid Kid and he's like, "You're braver than they give you credit for." Yep. That's not his voice. My voice I just did way better than anything Matt Damon does in the movie.
Ooh.
I didn't understand that.
He was buttering him up.
Is that all it was? He's just like, "Hey, be friendly so you can help me escape later," which is what happens.
It was like bullshit, and we hated it because if he'd have seen something in the kid that was real that the commanders didn't see, we'd be like, okay, but this kid is a fuck up.
It turns out, yes. And then he just kills himself.
You know what?
Spoiler.
I'm gonna go against my own thing. Matt, in a perfect world, Matt Damon should have been using this kid. If
100%
was the character that he should have been, and that's the whole thing. There's this one scene later on in the movie. We're jumping around because we don't care. Where Pedro
that is correct.
Goes, "You're a criminal and a thief and a brigand and a this and a that." And
is he?
Hold on. I mean, that's the crux of why this movie is really stupid. And then he's like, "Someday they'll find out that's who you are, and then they'll hate you because of it. They'll hate you." Or, well, my speech is better than his speech.
Way better than Pedro Pascal.
Pedro Pascal, who's a mediocre actor. Everything we've seen in this movie, Matt Damon's character is heroic, helpful, helping stupid boy, pumping him up even when he's a bullshit piece of garbage.
Staying behind to fight things that he's never seen before, even though he's really good at it right off the bat. But
Yep.
Still,
and so it's the most bullshit speech of all time because he is not these things, and he never struggles with this. He never struggles with. He is never ready to go. I mean, there's one part where he sort of stands off with his bow and goes,
Should I stay or should I go?
Okay, so we can't find the key, so we got to take them with us. Okay.
Yeah, because you don't want to let them out of your sight, Dan.
So
okay.
For some reason, the two of them have to travel through the bondage zone in the bondage cage. Didn't you notice the bondage zone where like all these guys wear their bondage gear? You don't remember the bondage zone? Where
I don't remember.
like,
I think I was laughing too hard about the key, I think.
But did you notice they put the two of them in this weird elevator for some reason? And then
I did. Yes, that I remember.
We're like
yes.
poking him with spears into the elevator, and you're like, oh, they're going to lock him in this cage. No, it's just to get them up.
No, it's just to get you upstairs
and
where everybody else is.
Everyone else is also upstairs. You're like, why did they get to take the elevator?
Well, because it's harder to walk when you're chained up.
Okay. So we see we got the Blue Lady Knights, the Plungers, we got the Red Archers, we got the Black Foot Soldiers who never did any foot soldiering really, even when the
because they're all on the wall, Dan. I mean, there's not a lot of foot soldiering to do up there.
You're kind of like, why do you even have foot soldiers on a wall? Because we did never need foot soldiers, except
because they made too many costumes, and they were like, well, shit. All the other costumes are assigned to roles. Make one up.
And then the yellow guys are the crankers.
That's not what they said.
Yeah. They said
crankers?
That's what I call them. They never said
it. No. I'm just saying that's not the official name.
So here come all the monster aliens down from the mountain. And they just like, there's thousands of them. They're just like, just thousands and thousands and thousands of them. And then they start shooting hot balls at them. They start shooting arrows at them.
Which is cool.
They kind of look like Ghostbusters dogs, but they have like ornaments. They have like Chinese characters on their heads. I don't know why they had Chinese characters on their heads.
I just thought, because I'm, a white idiot, I thought they were like alien symbols. That's what I thought.
They look like Chinese characters to me.
I believe it.
The only thing I liked about them is they had their eyeballs were on their shoulders.
Yeah, it was cool.
It's cool. So they just keep coming, and then they're like, oh, look, there's the queen. And the queen has like these other big guys that anytime anything comes at the queen, they go like, hide the queen, hide the queen, hide the queen. Which, like Tony said, you should probably be making everything to kill those monsters and targeting at that range.
Only because they already know that the key to beating them is killing the queen. They know that is the key. And yet they're not trying to do it.
Yep. Matt Damon, they should have forced him to go out there, and then he spied the queen, and then he puts it together because he's a brilliant white guy, and they're just these people that have only spent 900 years fighting these things.
They're too dumb. I get it.
So then the ladies jump off of this thing, and then they have spears, and they fly down, and they go, spear, spear! And then they go, crank, 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 crank. They come up, and then they do it again, spear, 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 spear. And then they
now, visually, I think it's cool. Right?
Yeah,
but
really interesting.
And I understand that the women are doing it because they're lighter. Yep. And so, they're more, but it feels like an unfortunate position to put the women in. Because it's the most dangerous job that there is.
Should have used children.
Children are great. Yeah, we got an abundance of them. We're fine.
So, let's see, crossbow. So then one of them gets up there, and so then Defoe lets the two of them go, and then he takes a crossbow and breaks it and makes it into a bow. Tony?
Into like a regular bow, which I don't think that's how crossbows work.
No, it's not how crossbows work.
But I don't know.
Show what a stud he is, that he can break one weapon and then make another weapon that he is efficient in.
Yes.
Then they spend about 20 minutes sticking hundreds and hundreds of spears and bolts and fire and atomic bombs. And then eventually they kill this thing after like 45. I mean, it's like...
Yeah, it's a long time.
And we have so many shots where the monster's like diving in slow motion, and they're like all It was so boring and so stupid.
Well, here's my problem is that yes, it's both of those things, but it's worse because minutes before this, we were killing hundreds of these monsters. Like they were dying so fast. The women were spearing everybody. We were throwing like bombs into them, and it's like, great, so they're not that hard to kill. But then we get one beast up here, and it's a 20-minute battle, and then everyone's impressed that Matt Damon and Pedro Pascal killed one. And I was like, why are you guys impressed? You killed hundreds of them, and they killed one. Seems very strange to me.
It was incredibly stupid. Now that the bad monster, they just leave. Because why did they leave? No reason. Just because
they got tired, dude. They were like, okay, let's go back, take 5, get some pizza rolls, and we'll come back later.
Yep. Stupid kid comes to Damon. I don't even know why. I think this is the first time we ever hear their names. His name is William, and I think the other guy's name is like Tovar or something stupid. Okay, so now
something like that, yeah.
Now we're at dinner. They're cleaned up for dinner, or they took a bath because they're stinky. And then, everybody's all like, blah, 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 you killed the monster. Even though everybody on that place had killed tons of monsters. These
so many monsters.
And they're like, show us how you're the greatest with the bow. And then he's like, does like the weirdest, dumbest bow trick where he shoots a bowl, and he shoots another thing, and then the bowl gets caught by the 2 bolts on the wall. Like literally not a thing any human being could do. And if he could do that, he should have shot out the eyes of that monster in like 13 seconds.
He should have shot out all the eyes of all of them.
Yep.
Because he should just be firing bows all the time.
Then the lady knight is like, she's like, meet me up on the wall. And he meets her up on the wall, and then she's like, no, I want to see you jump down there and prove that you're tough. And he's like, I don't got to prove nothing to you, lady knight. Bye-bye.
Yeah. Again, this scene is like 10 minutes long, and I don't understand why it's even in the movie.
Yes. And then, it's a trust fall. And then she says, we fight for trust. And then he says, I trust no one.
I fight for money.
And once again, nothing in this movie ever comes back to the idea of trust.
Or money.
Or
like there's a big argument between them where it's like, we're not the same because you don't fight. We fight for like trust and belief, and you fight for money. All the flags. And none of that matters. I don't even know why we're talking about it.
More importantly, shouldn't they just give him some money to have him fight for them?
Just be like, yeah, here's a quarter or a bludgeon. What's the money of the?
Just quarter. That's what.
Yeah, here's a quarter, guy. Get out there.
I got American money from the future. That's what you want.
It's going to be worth a lot very soon, Mr. Damon.
Wait, did the Chinese, is that yuan? Is that what it is? Could be.
I don't know.
So they found his magnet.
Yep.
How did they find his magnet? I
think that he just had it in the bag, right? And they were just like, hey, look at this guy.
Why did they even know to think about the magnet at that point?
I don't know, because I don't even remember what happened pre this scene where he's like, I think the magnet's the key. Just one scientist guy says that, and I was like, how did you figure that out?
Well, they figure it out because they have the 900-year-old scroll that says magnets are the key.
I don't remember this happening. Yeah, so you're telling me
they roll out this big scroll from 900 years ago when they were fighting them, and somebody figured out that if you put a magnet next to them, they fall asleep.
So to be clear, because I don't remember, I trust you 100%.
Yeah.
You're telling me that not only do they have all of the information they need to defeat this enemy,
yep,
for like 1,000 years,
except they don't have any magnets.
They have no magnets? The irony. Oh, cruel mistress.
The irony?
Oh. Oh.
Oh
my God.
For whatever reason, there's like an alarm on the West Tower, and so the big general goes out there with like 7 guys and gets killed.
But okay, so help me out with this scene, because I didn't understand this scene at all.
Yeah.
So there's 2 scout monsters, right?
Yeah.
on the wall.
Yeah.
Matt Damon just killed 2 monsters by himself a little bit ago.
Yeah.
You've got 7 people out there,
Or at least
or more,
it's about 15, 20 people.
and somehow you get killed?
Well, because they were pointing the wrong way. And he didn't think, even though he knew it was sneaking up behind him, he didn't think to say to his dudes, "Yo, dudes, it's behind us."
I just don't.
Why
I don't
do you
understand it.
when you see the thing coming up behind you in your sword? Do you not like communicate with your mouth, which is like a really easy thing to
With
do?
your mouth.
I don't know.
Why couldn't he just die in the previous battle where a lot of shit was happening?
Because they wanted this weird scene on the wall where people link shields like they've just watched what's his name 300. I don't know. I also like
Zack Snyder.
They throw one of the shields and it's like a buzzsaw and it buzzsaws through a monster. It's so stupid.
Yeah, I don't know, man.
So
I was confused.
Now we have a 20-minute funeral for a character that we didn't care about in a war that they have no time to waste, and they send up 10,000 balloons.
But it is beautiful.
It's beautiful. It's absolutely beautiful.
And it's one of my favorite parts of the movie. And I was like, this scene shouldn't be in the movie, and yet it's one of my favorite scenes that you've done.
Well, it should be in a good movie.
Right, yeah. Like, I should be emotionally affected right now because the cinematic beauty should be intertwined with my emotional depth, and I should be bawling right now. But I don't care at all. And I just like, oh, that should be my screensaver.
Oh, yeah. Then we have the 900-year battle report, magnets, and Damon's like, okay, we need to test this thing, so we've got to hunt one of these things like it's a whale.
And then he has to explain what a whale is?
I mean, back in olden times, there were a lot of things people didn't know about, so you didn't know what a whale was necessarily.
But he does?
He's been...
Because here's my thing, and I don't know anything about anything. I think we've made that clear in this podcast. But the origin of fishing, I do not believe is with white people. I don't think. I don't know. But I don't think.
You probably are assuming that the Japanese and Chinese fishers have been hunting whales for 1,000 years. I think you'd probably be very right. I don't know the history of whaling, but
me neither.
I have to imagine Japanese and Chinese fishers have been hunting whales for 1,000 years.
Like, I just kind of feel. I don't know. It feels right.
It was interesting. I read a thing about. I was like, I'm going to do some gunpowder research because I was trying to figure out when this movie was set. It was set, I think, in 1080. And I looked at, the history of gunpowder, and it was just like, in these 100 years, the Chinese did this with it. In the next 100 years, they did this. In the next, it was like the Chinese spent like 500 years making arrows and bombs and then cannons and then guns, just like everything. They were constantly exploring what they could do with gunpowder. And it was just like, yeah, and they forgot about magnets. Yeah, this is...
Well, it's probably because they had all of the gunpowder mines in China. So it's just look at the draw.
They probably did. Okay, so now it's fog day, and we pull out these big listening horns so that we can listen for the monsters. And, of course, do the listening horns work, Tony?
No, not at all. I don't even understand what's happening. Okay, 2 things. First of all, how pressing is this test? Like, I don't know how many days we have left, but if I'm going to do a test where I have to capture an animal, I'm probably not going to do it on a day with 0 visibility. I'm just going to throw that out there.
Well, they got attacked on that day, so they didn't have a lot of choice.
But it feels like they knew. That, I don't know. How do they know they're being attacked? I don't understand anything about this movie because how do they know they're being attacked? Is there like a forward defenses that are like just kind of sitting by this hole and being like, okay, they're coming. Da, 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 da.
You'd have those horns out there full time listening for things. No,
and then they'd be the ones that tell you like, oh shit, it's going down.
And then the horns don't even work.
The horns work so poorly that the horn guy gets eaten. He gets snuck up on and eaten.
It's the one good jump scare in the movie because I was like, bah!
You're absolutely right about that because it's silent and they're listening and then, rah!
Doesn't make any sense. These creatures can't be silent. Whatever.
Yeah. Ugh.
And now we have the big attack, and then we get the sex dungeon guys have like these blades that like come out of the wall,
which was cool.
And there's a whole thing where this movie has to do this thing where it keeps on introducing us to new ways to kill them. And so
instead of new monsters, it's just new death machines, which is, whatever. It's fine.
And then the greatest thing is they don't want to use the gunpowder until like the third act of fighting the monsters.
Yeah, why is that?
Because they don't want these two schlubs and Willem Dafoe to see them using it, I guess.
But we already know it's there. Like, I'm very confused about those motivations.
Yes. You think it'd be day one gunpowder, we'd be blowing the fuck out of them.
Well, because I want to live. I don't know about you, Dan, but if I'm getting attacked by monsters, I want to live. I'm going to use my best weapons.
I would probably have been gunpowdering the queen's ass 24/7. And I'm sorry, I understand these monsters are very resilient, but they're not. If you blow them up with gunpowder, they blow up.
They splatter.
It's like the whatever. Stupid.
Anyhow, before we move on a scene, I want to talk about how Matt Damon gets from the wall to the ground real quickly. He jumps and forward slides down the chain. What is he, an acrobat?
Yes.
This guy, he's going headfirst down a chain. That's not how gravity works unless you're like trained in the arts. This guy would be dead. He would have just jumped, hit the chain, and been like, "Oh no, I don't have a grip," and then he falls to his death.
Should have explained that he was also an acrobat in another. So he goes down there, and they've got this one, and they're working on it. He's like, "Oh shit, I'm in trouble." And then, more importantly, how does Pedro Pascal get down there?
I think he just walks out. I'm assuming. I don't know. It doesn't make any sense.
Then they finally use some bombs, and then this big secret door goes, and then they get saved.
Yep. I got nothing.
So she's now in love with him. She looks at him, and she's in love with him for no reason. She would never be in love with him.
No reason at all. I'm not in love with him. I'll tell you that right now. I like to fall in love with my lead characters. I have no feelings towards this guy whatsoever. He's the worst.
They're like all, they do magnet on a stick. Could you even tell if it worked when they did magnet on a stick?
It didn't seem like it did, if I'm being 100% honest.
They kind of cut early and nobody says, it worked.
It's working.
The thing doesn't fall over and fall asleep like you would think it would do. It'd be like, rawr, 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 rawr.
And done.
Didn't do that.
Nope,
they chose
not
to do that just to make us a little more confused. And then they're like,
well, maybe it's supposed to add tension. You're like, I don't know if it worked for sure. What's gonna happen?
Didn't add tension, just added confusion and make you go like, what? Why don't you give us the scene? That's the one thing about movies is 90% of the time you're supposed to give us the scene we expect. And if you don't give us the scene we expect, we're like, huh?
I miss part of the next scene because I'm like, wait, why aren't we seeing this thing instead? Now what's happening? Oh shit, I lost it.
Yeah. So somebody's like, oh, they want it in the Capitol. And everybody's like, huh? We don't know this? And you're like, well, wouldn't you all know this? You have like one.
Well, they say it's like the number one rule. I don't remember exactly how they phrase it, but they're like, all these things go straight to the Capitol. You know that. And it's like, do we?
But then everyone acts like they don't know.
They don't know it. They've never heard it before. Like only one guy seems to know that that's the rule. I don't know.
Jesus Christ. So, this is when Pedro Pascal says you're a liar and you're a killer and blah, blah, blah. And
all of which are false, as far as I can tell.
Reply is not, maybe you can change, maybe this, maybe that. I can reinvent myself. His reply is, I'm not going to.
Don't worry about it. I'm not worried about it. You shouldn't be worried about it. It's going to be fine.
About it. Don't worry. So they find that the monsters have dug a tunnel.
Yeah, when this happened, I was like, what?
We don't know where. We don't know when. We don't know how. We don't know how they did it in silence. We don't know anything.
I also don't know how they found it.
But somehow they've dug a tunnel somewhere, and all of them have gone through the tunnel somehow.
And apparently it goes straight to the Capitol. Is that what happened?
They're free to go. They're on their path to go eat the Capitol.
I would just peace out at this point. It's just like, you know what? We're beat. Let's go, guys.
Okay, so now we get to see, Ballard and Pedro are going to steal the vault, but of course he goes down and tries to stop them. Tony, what do they use to blow open the vault with the gunpowder?
Huh. I guess gunpowder? What do they use?
They use dynamite. They use these little sticks. Do you remember little sticks of dynamite?
Wait, these guys got dynamite?
You know what dynamite is?
Are you going to tell me that it's mined from a cave? Because then I'll believe it. Is there gunpowder in it, Dan?
Nope.
Is it the black salt?
No. What dynamite is it's a little container, and then you put, I think you put like sawdust in there, and then you pour nitroglycerin. Do you know what nitroglycerin is?
I mean, I know the words, and I know
that goes boom. You know that it's
Yeah.
stuff that goes boom.
Yeah.
So basically, it's a way of taking stuff that goes boom and sort of regulating it, right?
but it's unstable if it stays too long. I learned that from Lost.
Because it drips down, because the
Yep.
glycerin starts to drip through the stuff. And so you have to turn dynamite so that it stays
Yes.
stable. Tony?
I knew that from Lost. Good job, Lost.
Lost to the
Yes.
rescue. All of Tony's knowledge comes from television show.
TV. Yeah, TV growing up. That was my school, baby.
Video game. Okay. Do you know who invented dynamite?
I'm assuming it wasn't Jack Shepard from Lost.
It is Maurice Noble.
Nope, didn't know that one.
Now, when I say Noble, what do you think?
Like a Prince.
No, well, Nobel.
Nobel Prize.
You think the Nobel Prize?
Yes.
He created the Nobel Prize. So
At the same time as he was making dynamite, you think?
Well, after he made so goddamn much money. I think he might be American.
Sure.
I don't know. Maybe he's not American. Maybe
It sounds, I don't know.
whatever. But I'm pretty sure, I mean, I probably get all this wrong at some point. I'm probably talking on my butthole. But I believe he made up the Nobel Prize. And so they give out the Peace Prize from a guy who made his fortune making dynamite to blow people up.
Which is hilarious.
Which is hilarious.
I mean, it's awesome. It's very human race of us.
So watching these idiots use dynamite to blow up a thing, you're just like, give it another 700 years, then we'll get to dynamite.
Right. I mean, if you have dynamite, what do you need gunpowder for?
I don't know.
Okay.
They just don't understand that dynamite looking stuff. I mean, maybe there's dynamite you made. Maybe you put it in a tube to blow it up, but I don't think so.
I don't know.
So they're all like, oh, we've got nothing. We should do the balloons. So here come the balloons. They try the balloons. The balloons are a complete disaster.
They did not go well at all.
This was the part of the movie I actually liked. I was like, this is a nightmarish scene where these balloons just, instead of them being like the great idea, they're like a freaking failure of
like people are dying just trying to get off the ground in these things. I'm walking to the Capitol. I don't care how long it is. Like, fuck that, dude. I'm on my feet.
So, balloon fails. Pedro Pascal and what's his name have taken off. Ballard immediately cheats on Pedro and screws Pedro. So Pedro gets screwed. And then Matt Damon goes up on the wall and he's like, let's go kill that queen. And then,
well, first of all, the emotional turn of the movie, Dan, where he's free to go. She's sent the order that he can leave anytime he wants, but he's turned a corner from the thieving murderous guy that he was, and now he's going to fight for the good. Unlike the rest of the movie where he fought for the good. I don't know. It's all very confusing.
The big turn. He spends a lot of time. He has to really search his soul to continue acting exactly how
he's been done for the last 2 hours.
So he gets in one of the balloons, then we're going. Now,
luckily, his balloon goes fine. I mean, thank goodness.
And one was left behind. All the other ones have left, but his was left behind because they were going like this with it.
They were struggling to rope it correctly,
So
tie different knots.
I said to my wife when I took my break after 45 minutes, which this is much further in than 45 minutes, I said to my wife, I was like, yeah, you just know this movie, they're just setting it up so that Matt Damon's going to have to take his bow and shoot the queen in the eyeball, and that'll be the solution to the movie. Well, I was wrong.
You were way wrong.
It was.
I mean, he tried.
He tried. Of course, that seems like the plot. But they tricked us. So they go there, and then they crash, and then they go through a tunnel, and then they end up in the prismatic pagoda. Is the pagoda
Beautiful.
tower. Very beautiful.
Yeah.
And then the whole idea is he's got his like 2 blow-up arrows, and he's all like, well, get to the high ground, and I'll shoot with the blow-up arrow, and blow-up arrow 1, fail. Blow-up arrow 2, fail.
Well, so I'm a little confused on his plan. The first time, I get it. You got to test the waters. He shoots it, they block it.
Yeah.
But then he's like, if we go higher, it'll be fine.
Well, there is some truth to that. The higher you are, the better. You're going to be looking down a little more. But of course,
sure. But there wasn't really a hole.
The angles are like the difference between this and this.
Yeah, like it's not. I mean, I don't know.
At one point, like think when they're at the second or third level, they look down, and I mean, it's almost as if they're standing above the queen, like looking down.
Yeah, which doesn't, unless they're on the Leaning Tower of Pisa, doesn't make any sense.
Now, how do you know what the Leaning Tower of Pisa is? Tom?
From a Goofy movie, The Leaning Tower of Cheese. Bet you didn't see that one coming, Dan.
I couldn't even imagine what you were going to say, Tom. So they get to the third level, and the guys are crashing in, and so Damon's like, here's a rope, and he jumps, and they spin, and then he throws the meteorite right at the exact moment, and the meteorite didn't really do anything, just sort of...
Well, it stopped them from closing their shields. They were like, oh, we're tired because the meteorite.
And then she throws the explosive spear, and they blow up the queen, and then they are able to grab her back, and then everything is solved.
I didn't even understand how they made it back to the build. Where did the rope come from? Where did they... I don't understand any of it. The physics of it is very confusing to me.
And then instead of taking his gunpowder and leaving, which is a thing that they would have never, ever, 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 ever done.
Right. You're telling me that now that he saved the day one time, they're like, take as much gunpowder as you want. We've only been protecting it for thousands of years. It's fine. You can have it.
I'm going to tell you something about the Chinese. They would have had him executed instantaneously.
Sure. As soon as that's done, it's like, okay, get this white guy out of here. He knows too much. Get him out.
Maybe they would have used him a little like this. Maybe. Doubtful, but maybe. But they would never have said, take your weight in gunpowder and go. No.
Yeah, take it back to the West. No. We don't care anymore.
They never trusted the West. And you know why they didn't trust the West? Because they're not fucking idiots.
Yeah, because the West sucks.
We are those thieves. We are not
We're the worst.
We are Ballard.
Hey, hold on. I am not Matt Damon, okay? That is an insult, sir.
No, we're not.
Oh, we're not Matt Damon. Is that what you said?
Every American is Ballard.
Okay.
Everyone in the West is Ballard. He is a correct depiction of how the West works. Stab all your friends in the back, steal from everyone, be a piece of shit.
And it's fine. It works great for us. Okay.
It is the American way of life. So that was a great wall. Tony had nothing to say about this movie.
I still feel like I didn't say as much as I usually do, if that helps.
Tony.
Listen, the only note I wrote down, Dan, they were all about Matt Damon. About how bad he was in this movie and how confused I was at what he was going for. I still don't understand it. He's barely human in this movie.
He is barely human in this. I mean, I don't know. Like I said, I expect him to be worse.
I just can't believe that. I can't even imagine someone being worse.
I know exactly. And I'm going to, with the movie we're doing next week, I'm going to give you someone that's worse.
Oh, God. I don't know if I can handle it, Dan.
And it's going to be like the perfect follow-up to this movie. Oh, God, I just found out the perfect. So this movie, beautiful costuming, beautiful sets. All the Chinese actors are great. I think they're all very engaging. We wish we could have explored them more.
100%.
I would have liked to know these people. but we're left with Pedro Pascal and Matt Damon being garbagey human beings that we don't care about.
And I just, it bums me out because, again, like, he hired them to make the movie more accessible to the world, right? Like, that was the idea, but they were both so shitty in this movie that, like, that backfired so hard, I have to imagine.
Well, they were trying to make a certain sort of movie that's never going to play around the world. Maybe it played. I mean, it did fine in China, but
Did it? I didn't look.
it did okay. I mean, it was a big flop because of it. They spent a ton of money on it.
Yeah, big budget.
But this whole thing, American movies are kind of like this. They are a reflection of like the American psyche, and to try to make a Chinese movie with Americans that somehow taps into that American psyche just doesn't work exactly.
Yeah, apparently it's not great.
So,
and let me just say one last thing.
Sure.
I looked up who wrote the movie, and one of the writers, I didn't look up all of them because I had to stop at one because I was too taken aback. But one of the three writers that are credited with the screenplay also wrote The Sorcerer's Apprentice, which is a movie I adore.
That's the one with that weird-looking kid and
Jay Baruchel and Nicolas Cage.
Yeah,
yes.
It's kind of a weird movie.
It's kind of a weird movie. I dig it.
Yeah.
It's not like this script. I don't even understand. I am bewildered that adults wrote this movie.
Yeah. But that guy writes children's movies, so there you go.
But not. Yeah.
Now is the point at which we talk about something we liked. I have been watching The Mysterious Benedict Society on Disney Plus, which is another one of those series of unfortunate event kids books things.
Oh, okay.
Tony Hale is in it.
I love Tony Hale.
He is phenomenal. It is a beautiful show. It's it's a beautiful show. I mean, it sort of draws upon a lot of kind of Wes Anderson-y looking scenarios. But the kids are amazing. There's this one little girl called Constance that's gone in my lexicon as one of my favorite characters of all time. Top 10 characters. She is just, the girl playing her is just phenomenal. And the lines she has are just phenomenal. And the show is incredible. And it's just like, and actually someone we know in the show, she used to be a groundling, Mamaya, African-American girl. She plays like one of the main roles, and we definitely I took some improv classes with her, and so I always knew she was going to be something, and she's great in this. And yeah, just visually.
Did you always know that I was going to be something as well, Dan?
I banked on that, and
and you fucked up. Well, you can't bat 1,000, Dan. It's tough.
I've known a lot of people that were going to be successful. You were the one person I was able to glom onto, and just didn't work out.
And I fizzled out fast.
No, Tony. Yeah, but she's in it. And what else did I want to say about this? It's great. It's great. I binge watched it, and I was like, oh, I'm watching the last episode, and then I realized they put out an episode each week, so there's still one more episode.
Oh, so it's still, hey, there you go. All right.
I have one more, and I thought, I'm going to get to the end, and it's like, nope. But Tony Hale.
So good.
Phenomenal.
Okay.
Phenomenal.
What's it called? One more time. What's it called?
Magnificent Benedict Society on Disney Plus. Disney Plus has been
there's some solid stuff on there.
Their programming is phenomenal.
And they've just started releasing High School Musical, the series, season 2.
Yeah, it's good.
Oh yeah, I love that show, dude.
I mean, what they're doing is a lot of different things that hit on. Loki was. I mean, I know I got it. I had Disney Plus maybe a year ago or 2 years ago, and I had it for a little while, and I was like, meh.
Did you drop it?
I dropped it
for a while.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Because it was just all the old stuff. Their original programming makes it worth being there.
So are you saying that you missed Mighty Ducks, the series, Dan?
By missed, you mean I never came anywhere near it? I never came anywhere near it.
Then you're missing out on another great child actor.
So tell us something you liked this week, Tony.
I have two things to this. This was actually a really solid week. I had a lot of time to watch stuff with the wife. So there's a couple things, but I wanted two things. We finally watched In the Heights, which we're a little late on. Beautiful.
Really?
It was beautiful. It's gorgeous. The numbers are great. It's visually appealing. The main guy is fantastic. I hope he gets tons of work. I don't know if he will. I don't know. Anyhow, we loved it. But then last night we watched the movie Nobody, which is Bob Odenkirk in a almost like a John Wick type role, and it is fucking awesome. I had a great time. It's worth checking out.
We almost lost him this week.
I know, a heart attack. If Bob Odenkirk is having a heart attack, I am in serious trouble, Dan.
I worry,
but he's fine, right? He's recovered, right?
I believe he's okay.
Okay, thank goodness.
Word on the street.
Word on the street.
Next week we are going back to the blockbuster because we've not done every blockbuster that is terrible, and we are going to do every terrible blockbuster.
I hope so.
Check. The Great Wall. Check. Tom Cruise's The Mummy is now going into the check file.
Oh, Dan, this is exciting to me, Dan. I'm going to have so much to say.
Have you seen this movie?
I have seen it. I have so many opinions and so much anger towards everyone except for Tom Cruise. I'm going to save it. First of all, do you not know that I'm a huge Tom Cruise fan?
You have the problematic views to be a giant Tom Cruise fan. I will also say this is going to be the first movie that both of us have seen.
Oh, okay. Wow.
Entirety of
we are like 55 episodes in. That's impressive.
Yeah. Oh, I had seen like the first 10 minutes of The Great Wall, and then I turned it off because I was like,
that was a great choice whenever you did that.
This is terrible. It must have been on HBO or something, Showtime, way back when it, right when it got on there. I was like, oh, I'll check it out. And then I was like, nope.
Don't need to see any more of this.
Nope. Bye-bye. Bye-bye. Yeah, so we're doing Tom Cruise The Mummy, which I think we're both going into having already seen and already hate, but I think it's one we need to really look at from top to bottom as to why we hate it and why it is a garbage movie. I have
a lot of, unlike this week, Dan, I'm going to have a lot to say next week.
Whew, I can't. This is going to be our 4-hour Mummy episode.
Strap in, guys. It's going to be a 3-part mini-series.
I might even try to go back and rewatch the original Brendan Fraser Mummy.
Great. I love that movie.
Is a great movie, which is... I really thought when they were doing this Tom Cruise one, they would look at that movie and go, why was that movie popular and successful and good?
They did not.
They did not.
I'm so excited, Dan.
So I think that's probably all we have. This has been Hate Watching with Dan and Tony. If you like what you see, tell your friends, hit the like button, subscribe, leave us a comment. Occasionally we get very nice comments. We had someone, I think maybe just this last week, that watched our Tenant episode and was like, why aren't these guys more popular? They're funny. So,
oh, wow, that's really sweet, person who will never listen to another episode.
If you're that person and you've made it this far, thank you. If you're not listening this far, well, then...
You hypocrite!
Don't say that. No, Tony, that's terrible. That's terrible.
Calling someone a hypocrite is terrible. We're all hypocrites, Dan.
Complete hypocrites. So, this has been Hate Watching with Dan and Tony. We'll maybe see you next time!
Come back. It's going to be fun. Goodbye, everybody!